Hello there, cat people. Welcome to episode 8 of the Shelter Cats podcast, the completely amateur, unprofessional, lightly scripted podcast, all about the difference that the Shelter Cats have made in my life and will hopefully serve as an inspiration to you to adopt a shelter cat of your own. Whether it's your very first shelter cat, or maybe you're getting another shelter cat as a friend to your current cat, or a second or a third, as long as you have enough space. Well, it is a Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. I've decided to re-record my intro and bring you up to date on everything. It's also occurred to me I've forgotten to mention where my blog was the past couple of times, so I definitely need to re-record this. And literally, as I'm recording this, my Tucker, my current little shelter cat, is asleep in one of my pillows. He has this habit of, when I make my bed every morning, and I make my bed every morning, he goes in one of the pillows, like literally burrows himself in the pillow, and he makes it his day bed. So he's doing that, and Mona, I leave a stuffed animal on my bed, and Mona, who is one of my recent foster fails, Mona is making biscuits. She has this, it's like a black stuffed animal bear thing, and I leave it on the bed specifically for Mona because a few times a day she'll jump on the bed and make biscuits. My most recent TikTok is of her making biscuits on this very stuffed animal, which leads me to the following. Good segue, right? I would love to hear from you. I really, really would, because I want to hear about your cats. I want to see pictures. I want to hear how you adopted your cats, the story about how they came to live with you, how life with your cats. I want to hear all those stories because nothing makes me happier than hearing stories about your cats and the differences that they've made in your life. It's not just about how my cats have saved my life. It's also I want to hear how your cats have made a difference for you. So my website is tylerthecat.com. You could email me, dan@tylerthecat.com. You could find me on Facebook. Just search Shelter Cats. I'm on Twitter, which I'm not. I need to tweet more. Shelter Cats POD. That's Shelter Cats Pod. I am on TikTok and Instagram. Just search Shelter Cats Podcast. And I'm remembering this time, the blog is on Medium. I love Medium. Medium, sheltercats.medium.com, or just go on Medium and search Shelter Cats. And I post blogs every Saturday, and social media is basically every day. TikTok is every couple days, but Facebook and Instagram are basically daily. So definitely reach out to me. I would love to hear from you. And in other cat news, I have some awesome upcoming episodes. The next 2 episodes, basically, episodes 9 and 10, have already been recorded, edited, and are ready to go. And I'm so excited because I have awesome guests for both of those upcoming episodes. So next Sunday, episode 9, I interviewed Diana Cotullo. Now, Diana is the cattery manager of Little Shelter Animal Rescue and Adoption Center. And if you've been listening, and thank you, by the way, Little Shelter is in Huntington, New York, so in Suffolk County, Long Island, New York. And that is where I adopted Tyler in 2000. And Tucker, who's sleeping in my pillow right now, in 2017. Awesome shelter. We had a couple of technical difficulties, so I had to break it into 2 parts because halfway through we lost the connection. But great interview. I just got to hear about so many things about Little Shelter and the challenges they face and just all the things they do and some upcoming events they have and how COVID affected them. It was just an awesome podcast. So that's next Sunday, June 4th. And then the following Sunday, June 11th, I have a conversation with my oldest, dearest friend. His name is Jeff Henry. He is a pastor in rural Pennsylvania, Mifflintown, I think is the town, Amish country. If you're familiar with that, I have no concept of where that is in Pennsylvania. but it's very rural Pennsylvania, so as far removed from my life in New York and Long Island as possible. And he was a dog person his whole life, and through big changes in his life, moving out to rural Pennsylvania, to some challenges with health in his family, he has 2 cats that have made a huge difference in his life and his wife's life. So we had an awesome conversation, and that'll be episode 10, which comes up in 2 weeks on June 11th. And I have more guests that want to talk to me, another dear friend of mine, and another dear friend of mine. And within a few days, I'm going to be signing Taylor's official adoption contract. We have a verbal agreement, but I'm actually going to sign the contract, and he'll be officially my cat, my foster failure extraordinaire. And that organization is called Alley Cats, and they will be a future guest as well. They're in the middle of a huge project of getting a bunch of cats out of a bad situation in a colony somewhere on Long Island. So when they're done with that project, I'm going to have them on as well to talk about their organization and all the challenges they face, because unlike Little Shelter, they don't have a physical location. So they rely exclusively on a network of foster families, of which I was one until I failed again. So they tirelessly are out there saving cats, getting cats out of bad situations, pulling cats from the horrors that is animal control, such as Taylor. They do amazing work. So I'm excited to have them on. And then at some point this summer, I'm going to have my dear friend Shelly Betancourt on. She runs the organization that brought me Mona and Vance, who are my first and second foster fails. So, I'm reaching out to great organizations near me, and I want to talk to every one of them. So if you're a rescue organization not in my part of the world and you'd like to be on the podcast, just reach out to me, and I would love to give you a chance to tell your story. So without further ado, and that's a lot of ado. Is that the right way to say that? I'll try to be brief, because it's a holiday weekend and we're all barbecuing and enjoying the weather. It's a beautiful day where I am. It really, really is. It's a beautiful sunny day. It's 80 degrees. It's not too humid yet, and I don't like humidity. But in an earlier episode, I talked about how to adopt a shelter cat and what to look for, and just some tips on how to go about adopting a shelter cat. So I wanted to kind of expand on that and talk about how to bond with your shelter cat. Now that you've gone, you've reached out to the shelters, you've gone and met some cats, you found the cat you wanted, or they picked you, and you adopted that cat and you brought it home. And you introduced that cat to your home. You gave them a safe space of their own to get used to your home, and you've given them some space to adjust. And a few days have gone by. How do I bond with my cat? So, based on my experience of having many cats over the years, here's what's worked for me. And I can tell you it worked with Tyler. It worked with his best friend Tiger. It worked with Jackson, who I haven't talked much about Jackson, but his story will come up. It's worked with all my cats. So, job 1, give them time. I know I mentioned this in the previous episode, but the best way to bond with your cat is to leave them alone. If you're like, oh, play with me, kitty, come here. When they're first getting used to your house, they're going to freak out. Almost a guarantee. So some cats don't hide, like Tyler never hid and bonded with us right away. But more often than not, if a cat is coming from a shelter situation where they might have been in a cage, or like in Tyler's case, the cattery, where it's just a building with 200 to 300 cats. It's a high stress environment that they're in, a high stress environment, and they're coming to your home, which is the polar opposite. It smells differently, it looks differently, nothing is familiar. Give them time and let them adjust to you. That's why giving them a safe space is important. Tip 2, which I also touched upon in the earlier episode, is spend time with them in that room at a distance and talk to the cat. Just talk about, introduce yourself, talk about yourself. I'm telling you, they understand what you're saying, because I always do that. I will Taylor hid under the bed, Vance hid under the bed, and I just sat at the foot of the bed. I looked at them from time to time so they would get eye contact with me, and I just started talking about, whatever I've been through, what I do, what my life is like. Talk about your routine. I usually clean around this time of day, almost like it's a cat Airbnb. Just talk to them. Just have conversations with them in a calm, even-toned voice, like I'm talking now. Just start talking to them. They look at you and they understand the tone of what you're saying. And I'm convinced that it helps you to bond with your cat. Next tip is regular feeding. Make sure when you feed them, make sure they know that you're the one doing the feeding, and feed them at the same times. I feed my guys every morning at the same time and every evening at the same time. It's to the point where they know when they're going to be fed, and they all wait in the kitchen. Like, if anybody remembers the Catskills, and when the dining rooms would open, I spent many Labor Day weekends in the Catskills as a kid. They was these massive dining rooms, and they'd open it, a certain time, and a lot of the older people would be milling about the door waiting for it to open. Or a cruise ship where, older cruise ships where they used to have big dining rooms, same thing. They know if you feed them at the same time, they come to expect regular feedings at regular times. And if they see that you're the one doing it regularly, they associate a good thing, food, with you. And that is one of the key early things to help you bond with the cat. Next thing is toys. A good way to start to interact with a cat, especially a younger cat, or a shy cat, or a cat that was playful. If you noticed in the shelter, the cat was playing with toys and was very interactive with toys. Some are more interactive with others. Make sure you have a variety of toys, like bouncy toys, like mice, like teasers on wands. I had a teaser that had like fabric, like a string teaser with the strings that came down on a plastic wand. I had that for Tyler's entire life. In many instances, the shelter will give you some toys, but get toys with catnip in them. Get toys without catnip in them. Get just a lot of interactive toys. I mean, you could go crazy and spend a lot of money on toys, but just a teaser, like a feather teaser on a wand, or ball, like little bouncy balls, things that are interactive, things that stimulate the cat, and play with, to the extent that they'll let you, if they're still scared, play with your cat while with toys. Interact with your cat as much as possible. Every cat will tell you when they've had enough. They'll just lose interest and walk away. And then when they're done, go about your business. Go, even close the door, go into another room. But try to interact with the cat as much as possible. And they'll, again, associate you with a good thing. Play and fun and stimulation. Because cats do get bored if there's not something to do. Next step is, here's another thing that has worked for me. Don't alter your daily routine just because you have a new cat in the house or a new pet. Do your normal, if you vacuum at a certain time of day, if you clean at a certain time of day, if you exercise at a certain time of day, go about doing that. And even, vacuum in the room. If where you're sequestering the cat happens to be where your exercise machines are, do it in the room with your cat. Cats are creatures of routine, very much so. That's why I love cats, because I'm a creature of routine. I almost wear the same shirts on the same days of the week because I've lived with cats for so long. I've become a very big creature of routine. My ex hated it because I did the same things. I wanted to eat the same things on the same days. My ex hated it because, whatever. This isn't about that. Do what you do on a daily basis that makes you happy. Do that. Don't change your schedule because of the cat. I think your cat getting used to your schedule. And when you go to sleep and when you wake up and when you do the things that you do that make you happy on a day-to-day basis, whether you're an individual or a family, just do it. Involve the family in this as well. If you have kids, make sure the kids interact with the cat, but make sure they know, this cat is adjusting, and just give the cat time. So those are some of the ways to begin to bond with your cat. If possible, try to adopt your cat on a weekend or when you have a day or two off, if you work weekends. If you can spend the first day or two at home with your cat, I think that's also important. And I think it's better than if you, adopt him or her, bring the cat home, and then 2 hours later you go to work. But the cat needs to get used to being around you, and that will and bond with you. Next is brushing and petting. As soon as the cat will let you, and some do right away, some are a little more standoffish about it, pet your cat as much as possible. Pet the top of the head, the ears, the back. Some cats don't like to have their tails pet. Mine don't mind too much. Don't go for their stomachs. Don't go for their feet, because some of them hate that. Some don't mind. Tyler didn't mind. My guys don't mind. Taylor is not too crazy about it. Mona hates it. If I rub her belly, she'll take a swing at me. So stick to the back and do the little massage thing where you kind of, do a light massage on their back. Get a pet brush and start to brush them. Most cats love to be brushed because any healthy cat will groom themselves on a regular basis. Even Taylor keeps himself fastidiously clean. I've never seen a cat before he goes to sleep is 20 minutes where he will clean every inch of his body that he could reach with his feet and his tongue. It's awesome. He keeps himself very clean for an older cat. Try to be involved in that. Try to brush the cat on only the back, the head and the back and the chest a little bit. If you see that they don't like it or they hiss, put it away. But if they like it, continue to do it for a good 5-10 minutes. Being involved in their grooming in some way helps you to bond with them, because I started brushing Tucker and now he loves it. He arches his back. Mona, when she's sleeping, I'll just very gently brush her and she starts to purr. Same with Tiger. Vance. Well, Tiger too, but Vance, same thing. Some, only like it for a few minutes. Taylor's not too crazy about being brushed, but he doesn't hate it. You'll be able to tell when they've had enough, because they'll get a little tense, and if you see the tail kind of swinging back and forth or beating, looking like it's beating if they're sitting, beating on the floor or where they're sitting, put the brush away. But being involved in some form of grooming like that also has worked for me to help bond with the cat, because again, you want to associate positives with you. So the more positives your cat will associate with you, such as food, such as play, such as interaction like petting them and brushing them, the more they associate good things with you, the more they're going to want to be around you, because you bring pleasure to them, you bring good things, and that will definitely help to bond with them. The last one will depend on how you feel about this, but let them sleep with you. Let them sit with you. Let them sit on the couch with you. Let them sit on your chair with you. Some people may not agree with that, but I don't care. Tucker will eat on the kitchen table with me. Mona, Sophie, they'll eat on the kitchen table with me. Sophie will eat on the kitchen counter while I'm making coffee in the morning. Let them sit with you. If they want to sit on the couch with you, when you gradually introduce them to your home and then you see them coming on the couch, don't try not to worry about the couch so much. It's just a couch. The interaction with your pet, with your cat, I think wins out over whatever furniture this is. If it's a leather couch, cover it with a slip cover or something, because the leather couch is going to get ripped up. Ask me how I know. It's happened to me. So let them sit with you. If they want to sit on the furniture, let them sit with you. Let them sit and watch TV with you. Let them sit while you're reading or while you're doing some work. That's a good sign. That means they want to be around you. So don't interfere with that if you can get away with it. Those are just some of the ways that have worked for me to help you bond with your cat. None of this is set in stone, because every cat is different, every situation is different, and every cat adjusts in their own way. Every cat adjusts in their own way, at their own speed, at their own style. It took Tyler 30 seconds. It took Vance 4 months. It took Sophie up to 6 months to feel comfortable leaving the bedroom. So every cat will get used to your home at different lengths of time. And the last most important piece of advice I can give you in terms of how to bond with your cat is patience. Be patient. Be patient. Expect setbacks. There will be things that spook them and send them under the bed. The vacuum may freak them out. Sometimes having guests over may freak them out and send them under the bed. My Sophie and Tucker, they love when people come over. The rest of them, right under the bed. They'll kind of peek out from the bedroom into the hallway and look at things, see who's there, but they don't want to interact with people. So expect setbacks, expect things to spook them, especially in the beginning. Don't take it personally, and be patient. Be patient. Talk in even tones. Don't run up to the cat. And every positive thing they do, praise them. And maybe give them treats, or give them some catnip if they like catnip. Not all mine are addicts of catnip like Tyler was. But be patient and reward with treats. Not too many treats. You don't want to make them too chunky too soon. But be patient. Your patience will pay off. Because again, if you adopt a young cat, that's a 15 to 20 year commitment. Even if you adopt a cat that's several years old. Like Sophie was 4 when I adopted her, and now she's 13. This is a commitment of several years, 5, 10, 15, sometimes 20 years or more. Cats can live into their mid-20s, even older than that. So this is a long lifetime together. Putting in the time in the beginning and the effort and being patient, even if it takes months, it will pay off in a lifetime of an amazing, amazing bond of unconditional love. And unconditional love is something I have never found in another human being. And I am 50 years old in December. And I have dated people. I have had long relationships. I've had short relationships. The unconditional love of a cat is something that is never surpassed or found in any other being on this planet. I am convinced of that. So doing those things in the beginning, patience, interaction, regular schedules, food, treats, petting, grooming, talking to them, you will get an unconditional love that is the most rewarding, wonderful feeling on earth. When a cat loves you, when a cat trusts you. Like Vance, every time I say hi, he shows me his stomach because he likes to have his belly rubbed. He was abused in a colony near JFK Airport, and now this cat shows me his stomach, and I hold him like a stuffed animal every night when I sleep, because and he waits for me to go to sleep. That effort and patience will bring you the most rewarding experience of your life. And that's the point behind podcasts, my podcast, and my trying to explain these tips to you, is I want everybody to feel that feeling and experience that, which I have had the privilege of experiencing several times with wonderful shelter cats over the past 3 years. And I know this is a Shelter Cats podcast, but shelter cats show their appreciation in ways that I think are better than any other kind of pet. That's why adopt, don't shop. When you bring home a cat from a shelter or a cat from a foster home and bring them into your home and open your heart and your home to them, they show their appreciation. Vance has been here since January of last year. He still literally shows his appreciation every time I feed him. Every time I pet him, he shows his appreciation. So does Taylor. Taylor went through hell, and he was on death row. He was hours away from not being on this earth anymore. And he is the happiest, most appreciative, thankful, loving, purring, kitten-like senior cat you can imagine. So that's my show for today. Thank you so much for listening. I have international listeners. I'm blown away by people telling me that they love this, my little unprofessional effort about shelter cats. Great shows coming up. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend if you listen to this on Memorial Day weekend. And it's going to be a great summer, and I'm looking forward to future episodes. Thank you so much.